This is The Baseline, discussing the hot button topics of the NBA. Welcome, everybody. You are tuned to The Baseline. Callie Warrenshaw discussing the hot button topics of the NBA. Happy holidays to you and yours. It's that festive time of the year. No, I'm not talking about Santa coming down your Christmas tree. I'm talking about the NBA and the frenzy of sports galore that we get to indulge in while you're spending that special time with your loved ones, maybe opening up some presents. But the best present of all is that you get to celebrate watching the great game of basketball. I get to do it by having a great co-host, brother from another mother, doing it for a long time. My man, Mr. Warrenshaw, repping out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Happy holidays to you, sir. I love our holiday background, man. It is totally booming. For our people who've been catching us on the YouTube channel, we got real life snow happening. When does this ever occur? You know what I'm saying? In the virtual world. I mean, look at you, man. You multiverse and don't even know it, bro.
Man, well, for our YouTube watchers out there, happy holidays. For all of our listeners, happy holidays. But yeah, if you catch us on the YouTube, little virtual background out here to kind of keep you toasty, keep you in the holiday spirit.
I mean,
well
people thought you would have fallen off because you're living in Florida, know what this looks like. But
whatever. I still got my New York roots or whatever. So at the end of the day, this is a pretty amazing situation. I think, for us here, going into another NBA Christmas for us. And, we don't want to make sure that we spread good tidings to all our fans and listeners out there as well, too. So if you're catching us on YouTube, enjoy the snow.
Absolutely. And this is the wonderful background of podcasting, right? Of sportscasting. Speaking of that time of the year, cherishing and presence, goodwill to man. I got to tell you, Shaw, this has been an amazing year, 2023. First of all, celebration to us doing this for 10 years, right? Like, I don't think people really understand, like, the background for, like, what came about. And I'm sure we will do that at some particular point. We've been type of guys that just kind of like, we just wanted to build a platform for people to, hear nothing but the word of basketball and not it be inundated with all of the other popularity of sports. Like, we wanted to give a platform for why basketball is a growing, successful sport. And how it has an impact, not just to us, but to people who are really interested in the sport or want to be interested in the sport. But we've been doing this for quite some time. And there has never been a time where I've never sat back and said, man, I ever regretted the decision of one, doing a show with you. Two, more importantly, and I just think so that people truly understand, is we enjoy doing this because, it's a part of our everyday. If people don't understand, like, we have 9 to 5s, man. We grind like the everyday person, and yet we still find the time to sit down and have conversation, break bread with, people who do happen to do this for a living, who are out there continuing to build the culture and the brand. And to be in a space where we're actually being acknowledged and recognized for the work that we do, for the consistency that we've been doing it. To me, I just think it speaks volumes. And I think the announcement that, we've been kind of posting on, that's obviously not just been celebrated by the 19 Media Group family, but, just amongst ourselves as well, too, is well deserved. And I'll let you go ahead and speak on it, man, because this is the first time that we're actually going to have an opportunity to kind of to talk about it, and not only doing it via through the podcast, but also doing it via through our YouTube channel.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I think, for our fans, listeners, people have been rocking with us. And if it's the first time you're tuning in, well, Cal just gave you a little synopsis of how we came to be. But long story short, as we're going into what will actually be now 11 years, we're just completing 10 years. 11 years will start in January. We've been nominated as a finalist in the basketball category for the Sports Podcast Awards. A pretty significant situation, I think, for us. We're amongst 10 finalists, big names, I think, within that category as well. And also shout out to our label mates, if you will, of the 19 Media Group fam. Gimmick Infringement was also a finalist in the wrestling category for the Sports Podcast Awards. So we will be soliciting your votes. We definitely hope that you'll be able to rock with us.
This is where we get shameless, right?
Yeah.
Shame. No shame in our game. This is why we love democracy.
No, for sure. For sure. And
I would have an Uncle Sam hat on right now if it meant getting votes, from everybody, near and far.
No. And again, it's a big situation, and we're up against some stout competition. I think, that's out there. bigger names, if you will, but that's not any disparaging. They all do really great work, and everybody's nominated. And so, for us to pull away with the W, it's going to take some votes. It's going to take y'all help, but we definitely would appreciate it. The link will be in the description. I'll actually put it down here if you're watching us on YouTube as well too. You can go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com and you're going to do the /shortlist. And then you'll see all the categories there. Select the basketball section, and then you can vote for the NBA podcast, NBA Baseline podcast. We are in the bottom right corner of that list. I know everything already. Gimmick infringement, I think, is in the top right corner.
We crept through the door. We crept through the back door.
Trying to see. You
got to kind of snuck in there when you know what I'm saying, when they weren't watching, slipped under the radar.
Yeah, it's gonna take you like maybe one scroll of your finger down if you're on your mobile or whatever the case would be. But we're at the bottom of the list there, not meaning that we're the last in that list, just how we were labeled, if you will.
Yeah, and just so that so you guys are aware, 2024 podcast awards is what's up for voting. So I'm sure that when you go to the site, they'll provide you with a listing of those that have won in 2023. And as Shaw has mentioned as well too, some really significant names, people who have come in out the gate and have established themselves as great podcasts and great listens. And one other thing I just want to make sure I mention, man, like, these type of awards and competitions is not meant to just singularly just say that, you should only be listening to one podcast. I would encourage people to take the opportunity to listen to some of these other shows. I mean, that is part of what we do as well, too, because we enjoy what we hear from some of these podcasts. And some of these guys are actually contemporaries and colleagues. We probably have had a couple of these guys on our shows at some particular point in time. And while they're doing their thing, I think they probably equally acknowledge the fact that they appreciate that we're doing our thing as well too. It's what makes us who we are, what makes them who they are. So I would just encourage you guys, take that time as well too, and really listen through, man. We're not about saying we're the only ones that are out there. We're realistic. Would we love to win? Absolutely, no doubt. I think we put out a quality product, a quality brand of discussion that covers the NBA and covers the culture of basketball. But at the same time as well too, I think we're already winning. The fact that we're in that conversation with these other groups, man, I think speaks volumes. And we're just grateful to be among those, to be in that consideration. And we do hope to win as well too. But again, man, we love and support everybody. And again, to my man Shaw, saying big shout outs to our peoples, man. Gimmick Infringement. If you guys have not taken a listen to, and if you may not be interested in wrestling and in the world of wrestling and things of that nature, that's okay. Their style of show really covers the gamut of how wrestling has influenced our culture, our everyday culture, and how those individuals operate and move. And I just really think it's a great, great show altogether. So shout out to our guys, man, for Gimmick Infringement also being considered among one of the best wrestling podcasts out there. And if you are listening or probably digging for like another podcast that covers that, head over to Gimmick Infringement. You will not be disappointed. And shout outs to all of our shows, man, the 19 Media Group family. I mean, that's what we're all building for. We're all building to be in a space where we're being acknowledged for the work that we're doing as well, too. So as always, please go to www.19mediagroup.com. Not only can you catch us, Gimmick Infringement, you can also catch the family of great shows that are out there, great content creators, and just great work that's being put out on a weekly basis, man. That's why the 19 Media Group family is here. It's for us to deliver for you things that's for your listening pleasure. All right, with that being said, Shaw, getting right into it, right? It's the time of giving. It's our show of doing Secret Santa. You know what I'm saying? We don't get to do this too often, man. Maybe because the budget's a little light these, seeing these previous years. We had
budget light. We only give out a couple gifts, not everybody. Can't give out a gift to all 30 teams.
But this is the show where we kind of saying what will we want to be gifting, a few people out there in the NBA. Great concept by you, Shaw. Very clever. I don't know, man. This ranks up there because I don't know too many shows out there that are already on that Secret Santa like this. So. But as always, be sure to get my man Shaw at Shaw Sports NBA. Get at me at Game Face Leader Show, Twitter handle NBA Baseline. You know where to find us. Please go to www.baselinenba.com so you can catch this show and all of our previous episodes. And as always, man, we appreciate your support. If you're on the YouTube channel and you're feeling us, you're digging us, we ask you guys hit up that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Give us a like if you love the shows that we're putting out and things of that nature. And, throw comments in, man. That's the whole idea is, it's to engage and also to spark conversation. So we always encourage you guys. Also on the Instagram tip, be sure to go to @NBA_baseline so you can catch on the things that are happening with the show and also with the 19 Media Group family. So let's get right into it, Shaw. Secret Santa time. I wish we had that jingle bell. Saying the little silver bells kind of jingling in the background. That's okay. Maybe we'll make that work. I'll make that happen sometime next year. Let's talk about it, man. What would you, or who would you be thinking about when you start saying Secret Santa? I want to get them these guys this for the holidays.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the very obvious one to kind of lead us off here as we are in, end of December, approaching the year of 2024. The Detroit Pistons are in a bad way, fam. they're in a real bad way. About to set the single
I
season
will say
record
though,
for
Shaw, that
losers.
if we can put a positive twist on it, the Pistons are a very philanthropic group. I
Yeah,
mean, they are so giving. They're so giving to all of the NBA to a fault.
to a fault. And you hate to see it, especially from the aspect of listen, they shelled out a ton of cash to get Monty Williams over there. Yes, their roster was a little bit imbalanced going into the season, but as we record, I've lost count. We're at 26 straight losses, I think, for the Pistons. 28 would be the would tie the record, I guess, if you will. They have games as we're recording against the Brooklyn Nets and then against the Boston Celtics, where, you never know. So I think this is a very, very interesting situation where Detroit could end up losing 30 straight games or so here. And that would just, I don't know how you recover from that from a mental standpoint, even to regain the rest of the season. Yes, obviously, clearly in the hunt now for whatever the number one draft pick and whoever that will be here this summer. But for me, my Secret Santa gift for them is to get a W. They just need a W. And I know it's obvious, but sometimes you got to give, somebody the obvious thing. And this is not even not even so much as what they want as what they need. It's a combination of the two things. So a win some way or another here within the next week or so. And to get off this schneid, you don't want to end up setting history here. You're already in that space, but you don't want to be known as the greatest losers in an NBA season of all time.
I think because the Detroit Pistons are one of the most giving teams right now in the NBA, giving dubs. Some teams probably don't even deserve it, and things of that nature. You do feel bad for them. I think we should give them 2 gifts, Shaw. So you want to give them a win. I want to give them the Meta Quest. I mean, if they're not going to be able to win in real life, man, I would hope that they'd be able to get something in the virtual world. So I will gift them with the Meta Quest. I will say this, though, in all seriousness, this kind of has to make you wonder a little bit about what the threshold is for Monty Williams as a coach, because it's either going to be one of two things. He either really can't coach, these guys to play a level of basketball that allows them the opportunity to win games, or sustainable way to win a game, or the general manager, the basketball operations, the Pistons executives really are not on the same page about the type of talent that has to be evaluated and brought on for Monty Williams to be a successful coach. And when losing streaks like this take place, it not only causes, you're looking at it, ground level as to what this does to the players. I'm looking at this, from a decision-making process, so to speak, because I think that this could carry over even going into next year. If you really think about it, you look at that roster, this roster really is not a type of roster where you would expect them to be going through this. They should be going through their ups and downs, 10 game losing streak, maybe, 12, 13 or whatever. With the roster they're supposed to have, and even with some of the injuries that have occurred, Shaw, I don't understand how these guys could be losing as many games as they're losing. And I think the calling card about how bad this team plays defensively, I think speaks loudly. Like, you would at least expect Monty Williams to get these guys to play a level of defense that allows them, even through their offensive struggles, the opportunity for them to maybe have a chance to win games. It just does not seem to pan out like that when it comes to the second half of basketball play. They may look good in the first half, and the second half, everything just falls apart, which is just really, an uncommon thing when we talk about Monty Williams and the level of success through the previous teams that he's coached.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, again, I won't go as deep as you did here now, because I think the Pistons are an interesting case study here, and we probably need to really dive into the losing streak and what this is ultimately is going to lead towards in NBA history. 2-3 years from now, are they competing for a playoff spot? And they're looking back on these times, it's like, man, those were bleak, but look where we are now. Hopefully so. But I think in the short term, it's to try to get a W. Coach Monty Williams really just trying to figure out to get a hold and press the proverbial right buttons on this team, and just try to get it moving in a positive direction. Again, we already know there are a lot of rebound, et cetera, et cetera. Like, there's nothing else that's going to change that this year, but just try to set some good habits in place. I'd also say maybe thin out the roster and thin it out in terms of like better role definement. You have a lot of duplicitous guys and players. So those are things that I'd say in the short term, but Monty's got a hell of a job ahead of him now. And hopefully he'll be able to do that, for the years to come, because this can have you questioning yourself here as a leadership leadership role. Sorry.
No doubt. You're tuned to the Baseline. Callie, Warren Shaw discussing the hot button topics of the NBA, doing Secret Santa. We're gifting. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be the gift that's giving for this for 2023-24. All right, Shaw. So I got one, my Secret Santa. I'm actually doing Secret Santa for two people on this one. Zion Williamson and Ben Simmons. And the gift that I want to get them is Commit 30. So if people don't know what this is, Commit 30 is a company that has book planners that they set up that allows you to document and commit yourself to something for at least 30 days. So if you're saying, I'm going to be healthier for 2024, I'm going to commit for the next 30 days of doing X, Y, and Z to be in that space. If I want to, win an NBA championship, I'm going to commit for this certain period of time and do nothing but what's necessary to fulfill those commitments. So I am getting them Commit 30-day planners, because to me, every time everyone's talking about commitments with these dudes, it's always predicated on their contracts, and they can't even get through a quarter of the season without already being injured, or they can't even get through the season without already being on the injured list for 3/4 of the season. Like, let's be realistic about what our expectations are for these dudes, right? Everyone's talking about Zion Williamson's weight. Stop trying to make it seem like this guy's going to fix this by the time we get to the end of the NBA season. Ain't gonna happen. Let's go incrementally, Shaw. Let's start with 30 days. You know what I'm saying? Can I get you to lay off of the bad stuff for 30 days? Can I get you to stay on the basketball court for at least 30 days? Ben Simmons has not been on the basketball court since November the 6th. And everybody was talking about, oh, this is a different Ben Simmons. He came out in the offseason, different Ben Simmons, and look at him, the viciousness, in preseason, dunking on people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, if this kind of version of Ben Simmons comes from the Brooklyn Nets, oh, this team may be legit playing. And look at what we're talking about right now. So I am going to get these dudes. And then Zion Williamson, right? His contract is no longer guaranteed for the remaining years on his contract. Wonder why that is the case, right? Yeah. So I want to help them. I want to help them help us. I'm getting them Commit 30.
Yeah, that's very thoughtful of you, my brother. That's very thoughtful. I think, what is the old adage? It's 21 days in essence to build a habit. So you're giving them the Commit 30, and hopefully they can build some good habits to both stay on the basketball court and keep their health and fitness, at a proverbial, NBA athlete level.
Exactly.
In the case of Zion. So I like that gift a lot too. I'm going to look into
shout out to Commit 30.
He needs to sponsor the Baseline, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Commit 30 as well too, by the way. The great product, great brand. But I'm only saying that because I legitimately think that they need something like that. So
love it.
All right, sir. What about yourself?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and, scour the league, and this will be a little tongue in cheek, but my guy, DeAndre Ayton. Now listen, number one pick.
Well, your guy or your brother?
Well, hold on. I'm not trying to be disparaging in the aspect of like, oh, he's not Luka, oh, he's not Trae Young, and blah, 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 blah. Fine, whatever. Yes, same draft class. It didn't work out that way. Not even on the same team that originally drafted him, because he got into it actually with the aforementioned Monty Williams, And the Phoenix Suns, just said, what, too much has happened here. We're going to move you on. And they basically, quote unquote, downgraded in terms of talent for what they perceive to be a better fit in Yusuf Nurkic. But my guy, DeAndre Ayton, my Caribbean brother, came out and said, going into Portland, listen, now you're going to see me. You're going to see me shine. And I'm, my new name is Nominating. He's a dominator, bro. We have seen nothing of the sort, let alone to the fact, yes, he's had some knick-knack injuries here and there. But I'm at the point now where I want to see DeAndre and just play ball. Don't say anything about what you're going to do, because right now your new nickname is Paper Tiger, because denominating is not the move. So I want to see this brother be successful. As I said, obviously, even again, being a guy from the West Indies and the Caribbean, we are rooting for him. But there's no reason to talk about it. There's no reason to talk about it. Go out here, get the job done, do the double doubles and dominate in the way that the team needs you. As we said with the show with Jabari, be a star in your role. But clearly, he's not a number one guy, and that's okay. There's not a knock on there too. But if Anthony Simons, even Scoot Henderson and Jeremy Grant and all those guys are eating ahead of you, clearly, domination should not be within your nickname title. So I'm going to go ahead and swipe that to the side and go ahead and insert Paper Tiger.
Well, you're going to insert Paper Tiger, so you want that to be his nickname. Look, yes. I'm just letting you know, if I'm DeAndre Ayton, I'm going to have to stick with DeAndre. Because I can't be walking around trying to convince people that I should be named Paper Tiger.
Absolutely. Well, and that's what I'm saying. You got to earn those stripes, pun intended.
I'm just saying it's gonna be hard to convince him. Maybe you should get him Maybe you should get him to commit 32.
All right. Well,
okay.
I got you.
Okay. I completely agree with you. Isn't it ironic though? You look at Monty Williams and you look at DeAndre Ayton, two dudes who just could not be on the same page, and maybe to some degree, I'm not putting it all on them, but to some degree, held back the potential of greatness that the Phoenix Suns could have had, maybe the opportunity to win a title, because they could not get on the same page. They couldn't have confidence with each other. And that permeated itself through the chemistry and the dynamic of that team, where so everything is falling short. Now they're gone their separate ways. And it's like, you almost say to yourself, maybe they deserve to be with each other. Get it right before you get it wrong with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So interesting stuff. You're tuned to The Baseline. Callie Warren Shaw discussing the hot button topics of the NBA. Our holiday episode of The Baseline. We don't want you to go nowhere. Coming up, we got a few more Secret Santas we're going to drop. But before we do that, hey, it's the holidays. So just remember, if you like using debit over credit, I just learned about something that's definitely a game changer. It's called Discover Cashback Debit. It's a checking account that rewards everyone with cash back on everyday purchases, which means you can get cash back on tickets for the game, snacks, team merch, all with no fees, making this season a total win. Check out eligibility and terms at discover.com/cashbackdebit. More Baseline. Callie Warren Shaw. Don't go anywhere. Back, Callie Warren Shaw, the Baseline NBA podcast. Hey, just so that you know, if you're looking for the ultimate destination for NBA gear, then you need to look no further than with the NBA store. Huge selection of authentic and high-quality products, including jerseys, hats, and accessories. The NBA store has everything you need to show off your team pride. Plus, with exclusive limited edition items, you can make your collection truly one of a kind. And with an online presence, you can shop from anywhere in the world. Don't miss out on the latest trends and experiences. Visit the NBA store today by clicking our affiliate link. If you're listening to us on your favorite audio platform, be sure to check the link in the description of the show. The Baseline is working in affiliation with the NBA store /Fanatics and will be compensated for your patronage by utilizing our link. And as always, we thank you for your support. Callie Warren Shaw, the Baseline NBA podcast, doing Secret Santa. So Shaw, my next Secret Santa gift is going to go to the Memphis Grizzlies and the Orlando Magic.
Oh, look
Shaw,
at you double gifting.
I'm double gifting, man. Ooh, I don't know if I like how that sounded. But all right, I'm getting 2 gifts for 2 teams. All right, so you want to know what I'm getting them?
I'm on pins and needles.
I'm getting them NBA 2K24 so they can create themselves a 3-point shooter. Because it's quite obvious that they cannot find anybody or can't trade or can't do nothing to put somebody on there to keep them from being one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in basketball. And if you are the Orlando Magic, if you are the Memphis Grizzlies, and if you're the Memphis Grizzlies, especially because, you've just gotten back John Morant, you're going to need 3-point shooting. Me personally, have never been a staunch advocate in only being a team that shoots the 3, but you'd be foolish to not have legitimate 3-point shot making in your arsenal, especially if you're trying to contend or get in contention. So to me, getting a 3-point shooter by any means necessary. Call up your man Ronnie 2K, whoever you got to call, but you need to put some shooters on your squad, man, because these teams, when you look at them, they can legitimately be threatening, but they may not be taken seriously against the upper echelon teams unless that part gets fixed for them.
No, yeah, I actually love that a lot, especially in the case of Orlando, because imagine what they could be right now. They're still middle of the pack in the Eastern Conference, which is with a very staunch defense. So if they were able to get some 3-point shooting, however, they were able to get it, you would definitely think and assume that would take them to another level. In the case of Memphis, as we record, Ja's been back. They haven't lost a game with him there, but imagine, if they had that extra, guy out there. Luke Kennard should be back, hopefully soon. So maybe they can, go the real player route, if he's back in the fold, as opposed to, going to 2K route. But either way, I love that idea here. Having a little creativity here on the baseline here on the holiday season. Orlando Magic, Memphis Grizzlies, get you a 3-point shooter, build a player. I love it.
Nice. All right, Shaw, hit me up. Who you have for your next on your Secret Santa list?
So I'm gonna take in the model of you here, sir. I'm gonna give out 2 gifts, and this is really truly in the holiday spirit. As I canvass the NBA, there are times where I don't quite understand why some guys just go away, and there are times where I do. But I do feel like there's some talent in the league right now. You're just like, well, maybe it's just because they don't come with the baggage, and I understand that personality plays a lot into how players matriculate and their ability to stay on teams and rosters. But it's the holiday spirit. I'm going to give DeMarcus Cousins and John Wall one more chance. I feel like these 2 guys in limited roles, I understand what I'm saying. This is not for them to come in here and be your starters and, to be the guys that they were, even 5 to 7 years ago, but just to give them an opportunity to continue to taste that NBA. DeMarcus is out here, on a podcast with Rachel Nichols, great show out there as well too. And then John Wall is, working out here in the Miami area, trying to make sure that he can get his next shot, has flirted around with the Phoenix Suns and tried to be maybe their backup point guard, especially with Bradley Beal being ailing. Again, I just think there are spots for those 2 guys, and maybe it will come to fruition in sometime in 2024. But that's me just trying to be a good guy and look out for guys who I think might have a little bit of something left. John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, just one more shot somewhere.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, if that doesn't work, then we can always give him Biggie Small's greatest hits.
Hey, I love that one too. I mean, Lance Stevenson's in the G League right now, and apparently he's hooping. So the dreams are still alive, and it's interesting. Like, I don't know if they weren't invited to the G League, showcase or whatever the case may be. But I see a guy like Lance Stevenson go out there, and it's just like, all right, well, if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. So they may need to humble themselves maybe a little bit more as well. Or again, like, I don't know the machinations behind the scenes there. If they didn't get an opportunity to be invited, I don't know. But either way, I like to see those guys get one more shot.
I really do think, Shaw, that, and maybe this is something that we should put on our wish list of topics to have for our show when our shows in 2024, is what exactly are we talking about when we see players who have been professional NBA players, who are not legitimately getting opportunities to participate, or maybe even get on a roster spot. Like the Kenneth Farieds. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see these guys doing crazy stuff at their age. And then I see guys like Bismack Biyombo, Nicholas Batum, right? Remember, Nicholas Batum was starting. Like, no matter what people will say about what he did or didn't do when he was out in Charlotte, I often thought this guy will never be healthy enough to even be able to play minutes. And yet he found himself being a key player, role player for the Los Angeles Clippers, for a few years while they were going through the chaos of losing Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. So I find it interesting, Shaw, because it does make me wonder how much of it is the glory of saying I should only be here when it comes to playing in the NBA. I shouldn't be doing this. And if I'm only doing this, it's because you got to pay me a lot of money to do it. Or how much of is it that you love playing a game of basketball and this is where you need to be? And it doesn't matter on what platform that is. I just need to be playing ball because I know I'll eventually get my shot again, or I know I'll eventually be of some worth to some professional basketball team. Once again, I think it brings up some interesting questions because, to your point, some of these guys that you're currently seeing right now on NBA rosters probably not even are seeing any minutes. Would you not probably want to see a guy like DeMarcus Cousins that clearly has shown that he can ball with some of these other guys that are getting minutes, or John Wall, you know what I'm saying? Or Lance Stevenson, or Kenneth Faried. Hell, even Dwight Howard, who's had multiple opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of whether or not they're good, bad, and different, I'm just saying if they are viable players, they should get an opportunity.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea for a potential show, and maybe if we do our monthly thing with our guy Jabari, great opportunity. Already got the name for the excommunicated. Just trying to figure out, why these guys have been excommunicated in whatever capacity, and everything is a case by case scenario. But what allows, like you said, a Bismack Biyombo or Batum to stay within the league? Is it just talent, or is it demeanor that allows them to kind of like latch on? And we all know this is a relationship business, and that's not to say anything of Fareed or Wall or DeMarcus Cousins, even Isaiah Thomas, guys like that who have been pining for opportunities again here. But a great case study here too. So maybe that's coming to you in 2024 for sure. Great idea.
Absolutely. All right, Shaw. I have a couple more gifts, before we end our show. The first gift. This is going to be for Secret Santa. And like you said, man, I am just giving all the way. I'm like full tilt gift. Like this, leave no stone unturned. Everyone's getting it. Okay. But to all of our play-in worthy or possible playoff non-contenders, what I want to give you for Christmas is a bona fide hustler.
Say what?
A bona fide hustler. I want to gift you with a player, a mechanic, a guy that you can put on your roster. And I'm sure coaches need that right now. When you look up and down on who's kind of hanging around, who's on, you know what I'm saying? They're teetering. They're missing something. You need a mechanic. You need someone who can come in and just get things done. He can be your wolf in Pulp Fiction. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind of dude that when the head coach sits down with the GM and he says, I don't want to hear some ifs, maybes, or whats. I want you to tell me, stay calm, coach. I'm getting you a Matisse Thybulle and everything is good. You know what I'm saying? And then you as a coach will respond, you getting me a Matisse Thybulle? Well, damn, Negro, that's all you needed to say. Do you realize that Matisse Thybulle is second among all categories in hustle stats this year?
You.
Yeah.
That's your guy.
And that is my guy. Do you know why we don't mention this dude? It's because he is wasting away out in Portland. No disrespect to the Portland Trailblazers. But even if you are the Portland Trailblazers, you have a precious commodity right now that you can sell high and get more back by the trade deadline. Matisse Thybulle should be on your wish list for all of you play-in worthy playoff non-contenders right now, people. You need a dude that's going to give you those hustle numbers to get you those hustle stats, to get you over the finish line on those games where you keep missing those opportunities. Can't give it to Pistons. Pistons ain't ready for that just yet. But I can definitely tell you that if you are looking for somebody that can help your team, he's not the person that you need to be out there to give you 30, 35, be your superstar. No, but he is the guy that's out there that is literally doing the dirty work to keep you and your playoff or play-in hopes alive. You need to go get you a Table.
Well, then he's miscast because the Blazers have no chance of making the playoffs. But I understand. I understand your meaning.
They would be playing Vince McMahon music in the background. No chance.
Before you give your last one, I got one last one, a bonus one here too, as we're thinking about it, and another kind of obvious one here too. But again, in the spirit of giving and kind of good fun, I'm going to touch on this real quick. I'm going to get the Indiana Pacers a guard dog. A little security gate around the opposing persons, because they have no chance to defend. And since the in-season tournament final, they've really been stronger, and alongside with the Lakers as well too. But they've just been bleeding points. They've got to figure out a way to shut that water off, man. Go ahead and get you a guard dog, some security gates,
maybe get you
around the basket.
Maybe not guard dog, maybe get you a Table.
No, maybe they go to hand in hand.
Table turn Pitbull. All right. Well, listen, I got to throw this one out, Shaw. This is a funny one. I was thinking maybe we should get the Washington Wizards the Waze app or Google Maps. I don't know whether or not you saw this recently, but some members of the Washington Wizards might not know how to go in and out of the locker rooms, especially in start of games. Kind of found themselves getting, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of find themselves out in the opposing team's, entrance area, stuff like that. Yeah. I'm just saying, man, like if you can't win basketball games, at least you got to know when to get in the arena and when to get out of where to get out of the arena. Yeah. I just seem like that's still something that they even got to work on. So I'm just letting you know. Got to be careful.
Arena map by GPS. I got you. I'm with it.
All right, but no, in all seriousness, y'all, final gift I want to give. I would like to gift you, my brother. Listen. We don't often do this the gift exchanging thing, but we're brothers. I mean, that's how we do. We never do all that kind of stuff. We save that for the fams. But I want to gift you with some Headspace, the Headspace app, because I understand how mentally frustrating it is to have to speak on and follow the success of teams like the Miami Heat and the Golden State Warriors. And sometimes you just need somebody that who can identify with your angst and your pains. You know what I'm saying? And so I just want to get you, a year subscription of Headspace, because I know it's going to be tough trying to understand and figure out how the hell teams like the Miami Heat and Golden State Warriors can be successful basketball teams given the chaos that ensues them, the deficiencies that plague them, sometimes of their own doing.
Yeah. But they're always there in the end.
They're always there in the end.
It's perplexing. It is. It does confound me. So I will take that gift, and you might need to give me 2 or 3 years subscriptions. It is wow. It is mind boggling. The roster construction doesn't seem to really make sense. They've struck out on a couple of things here and there, but yet there they are, still competing, and again, in the end, always fighting to the bitter end. Giving some team
they all like babies, kids, man. They don't die; they just multiply. It's just.
But that shouts to them too. Great organizations, extremely well led, obviously extremely well coached as well too. But it does confound, the lesser minds, I guess, of the NBA, like myself. So Headspace will be amazing.
No, totally, absolutely. Listen, man, great show. All together, and the fun one. We don't get too many opportunities for us to, dive in and kind of cut up a little bit, because there's so many ongoing things going on in the NBA, and the topics are obviously important. Want to make sure, we're legitimately speaking on these things. But in all fairness, and these guys are professionals, right? The league is a professional league as well too. We're grateful that the league is vibing and thriving. Because it allows us the opportunity for us to be able to speak on the things that we love to speak on, covering this game and covering the sport. And we just want to make sure, especially we're heading into 2024. All of the players, all of the professionals, each and every single person from the media on through, no matter what space they are, especially in the world of basketball, that everyone is safe for the holidays, taking care of their loved ones, and, just making sure that they are healthy and ready to go for 2024.
Yeah, very well said. I'm just gonna double down on that as well. I mean, everybody, be safe out here. Enjoy the holiday season. Enjoy the time with your loved ones and family. To our NBA family, to our 19 Media Group family, we love y'all as well too. So keep rocking with the baseline. Big things to come. Always here, with the baseline 2024 and beyond. Man, it's been a great, great, great year. Although this is not the year-end show, holiday time gets you thinking in that mode. So again, enjoy everybody. Hope happy holidays.
Absolutely. And one last time, again, we really, really, really would love to hear, from not just fans, but anyone who's interested in participating and voting, for the baseline in the 2024 Best Basketball Podcast Award. Please go to www.sportspodcastgroup.com/shortlist dash category. If you go to the Sports Podcast Group website, just click in the 3 lines and you'll see for the awards, and it'll provide you with the short list. And then you'll look for the best basketball podcast for 2024. And then just look for us. You can look for the logo, just look for the title, Baseline NBA Podcast. And we definitely would appreciate your vote. And again, also too, Gimmick Infringement. They've been nominated Best Wrestling Podcast. So please make sure you go to the Sports Podcast Group as well too. And under their short list, just look for Best Wrestling Podcast and give them a vote as well too. Continue to support the 19 Media Group family, support us. And, and again, man, we appreciate each and every single one of you guys. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit up the subscribe button, give us a like, give us your comments and thoughts, man. Let us know what you'd like to do for, for the holidays. Who would you be doing Secret Santa with and stuff like that, man. But to each and every single one of you guys, we appreciate you as always. We cannot wait to continue to keep giving you the content that you love to hear, that's made us who we are. And for the baseline, once again, we appreciate every single one of you guys, and we'll catch up with you next time.